Good afternoon, welcome to the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan. I am Manzurul Haq, today's moderator, and our guest speaker today is a distinguished personality, not only from his own country, but all over ASEAN and beyond. Mr. Anwar Ibrahim, who had been in politics for more than 4 decades. And going through, he's not that old, but he's from very early age he's in politics. During student days, he was involved with youth movement and later joined the governing coalition, and since then, ups and downs in his life he has experienced. Once he was a rising star within the ruling bloc of Malaysia and was widely considered to be the successor of Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, and he was saving. And people were waiting for his days to come. And then later the days came, but with a different twist of fate. He fell out of grace of his mentors, and since then taking a different path and challenging his mentors in politics. And he's still seen by many in Malaysia and overseas as a rising star, but the star who is now challenging his former mentors. And no doubt an uphill task, but Anwar Ibrahim is taking that challenge gracefully. In general election last year, his opposition coalition, as many of you know, has owned majority of votes, but a faulty voting system has robbed them of forming the government, and he's still the head of opposition coalition, and vying for a provincial seat, provincial chief minister's seat in upcoming election on March 23rd. And that is also making the government nervous. And the Malaysian government is nervous for quite long what his moves are. So that's why they are putting bars and barriers. He was in prison for many years, came out. And not only that, Malaysia probably is trying to influence other countries as well. We know that last month he was supposed to come to Tokyo, and from the airport, just after 3 hours, he took the same flight back home and couldn't enter Japan. Probably he will touch on these issues. And Malaysia is going through a transition. That is, his first success in last election, he had 2 successes. One is that winning the majority. Another is breaking the long-held strong position of the ruling coalition. 2/3 majority they had always since independence, and that has been broken. So 2 major breakthroughs Mr. Ibrahim and his supporters have made. And so future is of course not so bleak. It's a bright future, maybe we are hoping, looking forward to. And all these issues Mr. Ibrahim will be touching on, focusing on today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to give a warm welcome to Mr. Anwar Ibrahim. You'll be speaking safe, so you can sit down.
Thank you, Manzurul Haq and friends from the Foreign Correspondents Club. It is always fortunate for me because in the absence of free media in Malaysia, I always will not reject any invitation from the Foreign Correspondents Club. You see, throughout the ASEAN and of course here, it's not the first time that I've been here. And although unfortunately I just gave confirmation yesterday afternoon about this event today. Now, Manzurul Haq has made references to a few issues which I'm deeply passionate about. Particularly the issue of deficit of democratic reforms in the Muslim world, the Arab Spring that started as quite euphoric, Tunisia and Egypt and Yemen, able to sustain in a way in Tunisia quite encouraging development, but appalling conditions results as a result of the Sisi's ruthless measures in Egypt, which is clearly disconcerting. Not only the Egyptian Democrats, but also the Muslim world. There are always questions whether there are ramifications to the region, to Asia, particularly Southeast Asia. My answer to that is that Indonesia led the spring a long time ago. Prior to that, of course, the Philippines, the people's power. And even Malaysia is 1998 reformasi. You could see this wave in clamoring for change. The route taken was not necessarily the manner you observe the Arab Springs, but clearly the clamor and the urge to demand freedom and human rights is to me very clear in the Muslim world.